Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss governing equation of conduction in rectangular coordinates. Now, first question arises in the mind, why we are going to discuss this topic. So, we are going to discuss this topic because we need to determine the temperature gradient in the temperature field. As we already know, in our FEM problems, we have to determine the value of temperature at the nodal values. So from this governing equation, we can obtain the temperature value at different nodes, and from this we can solve the heat transfer rate and heat flux problems accordingly. So this is the basic importance of this topic. Now consider a control volume of rectangular cross section in the temperature field. The dimensions of this control volumes are basically dx, dy and dz. Now as I already told you in the previous lectures, our all equations, our all derivation in this chapter, in this subject basically starts from the energy balance, which is basically sigma q is equal to mcp delta T, which means whatever heat is transferred to any control volume and stored by it, it will increase its internal energy. This is the basic principle behind the all equations in the subject. Now I am going to discuss this equation with the help of two examples. Suppose there is a bank account for a certain period of time, suppose 3 months. You have deposited some amount of money and you have taken out some amount of money from your account. Now what is the net worth of your account after the period of 3 months? It should be subtraction of money in and money out plus interest on the money in your account, which is basically known as money, which is basically called as money generated. So basically the net worth of your account will be subtraction of money in and money out plus money generated. Similarly, in energy balance equation, when some heat is interacted or heat is supplied by the surrounding to this control volume, then A is basically heat interaction of this control volume with the surrounding, B is heat generated in the control volume, and C is basically net worth, net heat content of the control volume or net energy stored in the control volume, and net change of internal energy of the control volume is C. Now this is basic explanation of the energy equation. Now come to second example. Basically for the control volume, suppose 80 units are supplied to control volume and 20 units are leaving the control volume in unit time. So subtraction of these two, 80 and 20, this means 60 will be stored by the control volume. As we already know from the energy principle, energy cannot be destroyed and generated. So whatever is the difference between the energy entering and exiting the control volume will be stored by the control volume. As we already know, our control volume is composed of the molecules. As I already told you that we are only interested in the thermal energy, which is heat in this subject. Now if other forms of energy like chemical and nuclear and electrical energy is converted into thermal energy or heat, then we called it as the heat generated. So basically the subsection of the and heat entering and exiting the control volume will be stored by the control volume, and it will increase its internal energy plus whatever energy is converted into the heat will also increase its temperature and internal energy and will also be stored in the control volume. So the net heat content stored by the control volume will be equals to the subtraction of heat in and heat out, which is A in the equation, plus B net heat generated in the control volume. So this is the basic explanation of the energy balance equation. Now we are going to determine the values of A, B, C and substitute these value in the equation number 1. In the whole derivation, basically A, B, C are the amount of heat content. Okay, capital T is temperature and small t is time. Now C is basically amount of heat stored by the material in a certain duration of time. So mCp dT upon dt is rate of change of internal energy of the control volume. When we multiply this with dt, then it will be amount of heat stored by the control volume in a certain duration of time. Now B is basically total amount of heat generated by the controlled volume in a certain duration of time. Small qz is heat generated by the control volume per unit volume per unit time. When we multiply small qz with volume, as we already know, the volume of this control volume is dx, dy and dz, and then time duration, then we obtain the value of capital B. Now A is basically heat accumulated in the element due to the conduction of heat from all possible direction into the control volume. Now as we already know, heat can be conducted in this rectangular coordinates in 3 directions, which are x, y and z. Now total heat accumulated in the control volume due to the conduction will be heat accumulated in the control volume due to conduction in x direction, heat accumulated in the controlled volume due to the conduction in y direction, heat accumulated in the controlled volume due to conduction in z direction. Now Qx is basically heat entering the control volume from left phase. Qx plus dx is basically heat leaving the control volume from this right phase. Qy is heat entering the control volume from bottom phase, and Qy plus dy is heat leaving the control volume from this top phase. Qz is heat entering the control volume from this front phase, and Qz plus dz heat leaving the control volume from this back phase. As we already know, heat accumulated can be determined as the subtraction of heat input and heat output to the control volume. So this is basically heat accumulated in the control volume in x direction, in y direction and z direction. Now we will determine the value of these 3 parameters and substitute in the equation number 1. From the Farade's law of conduction, as we already know, heat transfer rate is given as minus kx ax del T upon del x. Thermal conductivity, area perpendicular to the direction and temperature gradient in that direction in which heat transfer rate is determined. And when we multiply this heat transfer rate with dt time interval, then we can obtain the value of heat accumulated in the x direction, and that's why I have shown a bar on heat transfer rate, because it is basically amount. Now from the Taylor series of expansion, as we already know, heat leaving the control volume from right phase, which is x plus dx, is given as qx bar plus del upon del x qx bar dx. Now I am going to discuss the physical significance of this Taylor series of expansion. Now suppose 20 units are entering the control volume in x direction from left phase and 80 units are leaving the control volume in x direction from right phase. Now qx plus dx, total amount of heat leaving the control volume in x direction, can be determined as summation of qx, the heat entering the control volume from the left phase, plus total change of the heat in the control volume in x direction. As we already know, 20 is entering and 80 is leaving, so 80 should be 20 plus 60, so 60 is basically 60 is basically amount of heat change in the controlled volume. This is 60. 60 is basically amount of heat change in the control volume. Now change of the quantity in the control volume can be represented in the form of rate of change. Now suppose the dimension of the control volume in x direction dx is 3 mm. So if 60 units are changed in 3 mm, then what will be the change of heat in 1 mm? That should be 20. So 20 units are changed in the control volume in x direction. So when we multiply this rate of change, yani change per, it means change per unit dimension into total dimension. So when we multiply rate of change with dimension, then we will get the total change along dx. Okay, so basically in this formula, del qx upon del x is showing rate of change of any parameter. Okay, so in this way we have determined the total amount of heat leaving the control volume from the right phase. Now the heat accumulated in the x direction is given as subtraction of heat entering the control volume in x direction and heat leaving the control volume in x direction. So substituting the value of qx plus dx from this equation, so it will be qx bar minus qx bar plus del upon del x qx bar dx. Now qx and qx bar will be cancelled and we will get only minus del upon del x qx bar into dx. Now substitute the value of qx bar from Fourier's law of conduction, then we will get the heat accumulated in the x direction during a certain period of time dt in the control volume as minus del upon del x k ax del t upon del x dt into dx. Now time is fixed 2 or 3 seconds for the whole process, so it is not variable, so we can take it out from the differential because it is a constant. Now similarly we can determine the value of heat stored in this control volume in y and z direction. So for heat stored in the control volume in y direction due to the conduction is given as minus del upon del y ky ay del t upon del y dy into dt. Similarly for z direction, del upon del z kz az del t upon del z dz into dt. After substituting the value of a, b, c in the equation number 1, we will get the equation number 2 like this. This equation is basically valid for all type of conduction problems in Cartesian coordinates, like with heat generation, without heat generation, steady state, unsteady state, 1D problem, 2D problem, 3D problem. Now we are going to consider some assumption to this equation. Now first assumption is that material is homogeneous and isotropic. Homogeneous means the properties of the material are not changing with space, and isotropic means properties of the material are not changing with the direction. So if material is homogeneous and isotropic, it means thermal conductivity will not vary with space coordinates, so it will be constant. So kx, ky, kz is a constant k, so we can take it out of the derivative. So after taking it out of the derivative, we can take it common also because k is similar in all three terms, so we can take k out of the bracket. Okay, now ax is the basically area which is perpendicular to the heat flow in x direction. So here ax will be dy into dz. Similarly ay is basically area which is perpendicular to the heat flow in y direction. Here ay will be dz into dx. Similarly az is the area which is perpendicular to the heat flow in z direction. Here az will be dx into dy. Now, after substituting the value of Ax, Ay and Az in the equation, we will get the equation like this, and mass of the control volume is given as density into the volume. So now in the next step, as we already know, dx, dy and dz are basically fixed dimensions of the control volume. So they all are constant, they cannot vary. So we can take dx, dy and dz in all three terms outside the derivative. So after taking them outside the derivative, we will get the equation like this, and also we have taken the thermal conductivity K as common for whole left hand side. So we have taken the thermal conductivity common, so K is multiplied to all these three terms. Now if taking common, K will be divided by Qg. So Qg by K, okay, and K is taken outside, okay. Now we have taken dx, dy, dz common for all three terms, because dx, dy and dz are available in all three terms, dx, dy, dz, dx, dy, dz. So we have taken all dx, dy term, dx, dy, dz term common, and dt is cancelled from every term in the equation. Now further volume of the element dx, dy, dz is present in all terms. So now further we can cancel dx, dy, dz in all three terms. After this we will simplify and obtain the equation like this: del square t upon del x square plus del square t upon del y square plus del square t upon del z square plus qg by k is equals to rho Cp by k. So rho Cp by k will be 1 by alpha. Now this is a basic general governing equation for conduction in rectangular coordinates for homogeneous and isotropic material. So we will stop here and discuss the general heat conduction equation in cylindrical coordinates in next lecture. Thank you everyone.